This is Live and Thrive. I'm with Tony again, and we are on a mission to see you achieve your goals towards the pursuit of purpose. You see, one of the skills you need to achieve your goals is mindfulness. So, Tony, what is mindfulness?
Hey, hello, folks. It's good to be here again. For us to be able to talk about mindfulness, one of the first things we need to know is that we can't control things outside us. A psychologist named John Kabat-Zinn said you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Okay, so with that in mind, let us consider a situation where you have been waiting on a queue for a long time and someone caught in front of you. What are you going to do? I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this discussion, because we'll try and talk about it later on. So let us think about mindfulness. I'm sure you've heard the word be mindful. What it means essentially is that you slow down to really notice what is going on around you. When you're mindful, you're taking your time, you are rooted in the here and now, and you are focused in a relaxed, easy way. So for you to be mindful, you have to be purposeful in paying attention to what is happening so that you can understand it better. So what are the things that make you mindful? You have to have that intention to be aware of what's going on. You have to pay attention, and you also have to be non-judgmental about it. We will talk about these judgment things as we go on. So, in summary, mindfulness is the ability to be aware of where we are, what we are doing, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what is going on. I'm sure if you've been paying attention, you've been hearing that word more frequently of late, especially in the past decade. There are even apps to help you build mindfulness if you go to the Play Store or the App Store. So what I would say is to be mindful, be here now.
Wow, be here now. That's one thing that a lot of people find very hard to do these days. People don't pay attention anymore. People are always into themselves. From what you've said, what stands out for me about mindfulness will be focus, consciousness, purposefulness, and intention. So how else can we describe mindfulness? How can I tell if I'm mindful?
Well, some of them we have talked about in the opening, but let's dig deeper into some of those features of being mindful. The first one is not being judgmental. This is how you can be judgmental. Remember that guy that caught in front of you? You just make a judgment without any additional information that this guy has done something wrong, and you lash out at that person. That's being judgmental. If you're not judgmental, you will see it as just an event. This man caught in front of me without deciding that it was a bad thing or a good thing. That is being not judgmental. You will see how it pays off as we go along too. Another thing about being mindful is being patient. One of the things a lot of these mindfulness teachers will tell you is to not hurriedly react to things as they happen. Take time to process what's going on, and that way you'll be able to respond to it in a better way. Another thing about mindfulness is curiosity. You see, you don't know what's going on. The man caught in front of you. You don't know why. One, He could be genuinely evil. He could actually be in a pressure situation and needed to cut in front of you. Pressure being somebody's life is at stake and is trying to get ahead of you so that I can quickly help that person, or some situation like that. So out of curiosity, you are now patient to find out what's really the reason why this guy cut in front of me. You are likely to respond better to that situation. Another thing about mindfulness is trusting in yourself and the way you feel. If you are angry about something, acknowledge it to yourself. Okay, I'm not happy about this situation. But that does not mean you should go ahead and do what angry people do. You must learn to accept that you have emotions and they may work in your disadvantage if you do not control them. One thing about being mindful as well is you're not striving, you accept the situation as it is. It helps you make a better response to it. One other thing about mindfulness is letting go. So if you look at all these properties, you see that it helps you build better awareness of yourself and your environment, which is closely related to being emotionally intelligent. And that is one of those pillars that we learned earlier on that helps you achieve your goals, because you cannot achieve everything by yourself. So those are essentially the ways you will know how mindfulness works.
Wow, wow. I like that part about not being judgmental. We need to learn to respond and not react. Like Tony says, you need to watch our video on emotional intelligence. Now, like I said at the beginning, on Live and Thrive, it's our desire to see people achieve their goals. So how exactly can we apply mindfulness towards achieving our goals?
Well, from what we have discussed so far, I'm sure it's becoming clearer to you some of the benefits that will accrue if you practice mindfulness. You are better able to solve problems. You are likely to make better decisions and take the right kind of action when whatever situation you are confronted with. Don't forget, you cannot control the waves, like we said at the beginning, but you can learn to ride the waves. And that is one of the benefits of sitting back to understand where you are, then you know what to do next. So here are some of the other benefits that will accrue when you practice mindfulness. It becomes clearer what is really important. So once the important things are clearer to you, you can now be efficient in your energy. You won't be wasting time on the wrong things. Imagine you have spent your time going to go and report that guy that jumped in front of you, angrily losing your position on the queue and everything, only to find out that, oh, the guy had a real problem that had to be solved much more quickly than yours. Then you will have wasted so much time. So mindfulness helps us to save on energy and actually be more productive. It also helps us to build influence with other people, because you have a better understanding of their needs and you know how to help them. And clearly, people always have this need to help those people who have helped them. So it opens up a bunch of doors for you because you are able to address them at the point of their needs. Your decision making, like I said, will be improved because you have developed a sense of self-awareness. But one of the key advantages that's being leveraged by a lot of practitioners now is the improvement it can also bring to your mental and physical health. Some people have conducted studies that mindfulness helps with heart disease. It helps us get better sleep. It even helps with mental conditions like depression. Just paying attention and not rushing into things and not being overly emotional helps us to conquer all these things. And these are real benefits, because a healthy body and a healthy mind is one of those things. So those are the key benefits of being mindful.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, like we always say here, our being is about people. It's all about people. We cannot exist alone. So we need to meet the needs of people. But how do you help people meet their needs when you don't even understand them? So I would say mindfulness is a skill that is needed today more than ever. What with the pressure and turbulence of everyday life, it's not very easy to stay focused on one's vision, values, and goals. You know, going through all these motions and emotions. So how can we be more mindful?
Yes, clearly you will notice that for you to be mindful, it is a deliberate action you have to take. Because chances are that many of us react very quickly to things as they happen. We will do it instinctively. So for you to be a mindful person, you must take time. I'm going to look at two tools to help us do this. The first tool is what they call dialectical behavior therapy. It actually occurs in 3 stages. The first stage is observe, second stage is describe, and the final stage is to participate. So what you do here is this. If there's an event, you start by observing, which is experiencing what is going to happen. You have to quiet your mind so that you're not being judgmental. You have to be patient. And in so doing, you'll be able to take in as much information as possible. Then the next thing is to describe it without being judgmental. For example, you touch the water coming off the tap and it's very cold. Instead of deciding that it's going to hurt you or it's going to make you catch a cold, all you're just saying to yourself is, this water is cold. Just a statement of fact about what you have observed. Then you can now participate because you have taken time to review it. And then you begin to engage the situation, having thought through it. But one of the simpler tools I recommend, which is what they call the STOP, that's stop. The acronym for it is to stop. The first S is to just stop what you're doing. Don't proceed. Then T means to take a breath. That breathing in helps you calm your emotions. And as you are doing that, you do the O, which is to observe, okay, what am I feeling about this? Am I angry about it? Am I excited about it? What is the best way to handle this? Before you now go to the P, which is where you proceed with what you are going to do. So if you consciously practice this, especially in a high pressure situation or in instances where you understood yourself to usually act in ways that are not your best interest, always use this mindfulness tool to engage such situations. So that way you build more awareness, because with more practice, you're becoming more aware of how you respond to some of these things, and you know when to engage. So being aware is the first step towards change. And I just say this to you. Remember your ABC, which is to always be conscious. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. It's been interesting as usual. I like to echo that. Awareness is the first step toward change. Honestly, it's time to stop for a minute. That's what I'm saying to myself as well. Take a break. Keep an open mind. This is difficult, most especially against the temptation to keep rushing, going with the flow, competing. Yes, I agree that success loves speed, but speed is really useless without direction and awareness. So watch this video again and implement everything you've heard. Thanks for following. Kindly subscribe also to our Live and Thrive channel on YouTube. Like, comment, and share. Have a wonderful week.